Welcome back to lichess.com YouTube channel. My name is Oleksiyenko. I am Grandmaster from Ukraine. And today, as usual, we will be analyzing one of the classical games played at the platform. The platforms, for those who just joined the video or the channel, is lichess.com, where people can play classical games online. It's very hard to find an opponent. If you just click the button, this is the place to be. There's like 30 plus 30 ladder, there's 60 plus 30 ladder. You can check live games that are happening right now as I'm recording this video. These are the games, these are people meet to find a time that suits both to play rapid and classical chess. And what we're gonna do today, I'm gonna analyze one of the games that the users suggested at the Discord community. You will see more analysis of games like this, in-depth analysis, and it's gonna be effective only if the game was long. To extract a lot of value from a blitz game, very hard, because usually the decisions are made in seconds and they could be silly. When we have enough time and we make a big mistake, not necessarily a tactical, we can learn a lot from it. So here, I'll be honest with you, I briefly checked the game. I saw the graph. I'm a mathematician as well. So I see the graph. White was winning, white was losing, draw, losing, winning. I'm interested in what happened in this game. And I briefly look through the games. You will see what Stockfish has to say. But I would add, let's say, a human touch to it. I would add some nuances that we as human beings can learn from. And Stockfish is either missing it or can disprove what I'm saying, but if I were playing a computer, right? But we are human beings. So without any further ado, let's check this King's Indian game. So Black played King's Indian, but now C6, not even trying to go to, I'm assuming, to symmetrical Grunfeld, E4, D6, D4, and Knight BD7. Now, Bishop F4. Here's one thing. Black is trying to prevent E5. Right? Sorry, white is trying to prevent E5. First point. So I'm going to give advice for both sides. I'm sitting on the black side, but I'm going to give advice to both players. First advice. Do you have any other place for the king except short castle? The answer is no. You will not stay in the center and you will not castle long. This is not a line where you castle long. So I would say 100% of the time, I'm going to castle short. Are you as certain about that bishop? I am not certain. Most likely it would go to e3. Maybe I would have to play h3 first. Maybe it goes to f4. Maybe it goes to g5. Well, not h6, no. So maybe it goes to f4, e3, g4. Maybe it stays on. Maybe I go b3, bishop a3 if d6 is weak. I am not sure about the bishop. So my suggestion is delay that decision. Your opponent can help you with that. If white were to castle, black would play e5. There you go. I'm not going to f4. That's it. Problem solved. I do understand the logic of bishop f4 because e5 is extremely typical for black. But we always have a reason to make a mistake, whether a tactical or a positional one. That's why I'm giving you, let's say, these helpful thoughts and thinking processes. Like, if this move I have to do and this one I have options, keep those options. They may change depending what your opponent is doing. So now another point. Now let's take a look at black side. Black played knight h5. Clearly saying, okay, there's the bishop preventing my e5. I'm going to go knight h5, and it took black. I'm also checking the time. Like it's plus 30 seconds, right? So like 3-something minutes. Knight h5. I love the following thing. Sam Shankland, the great Austrian coach and grandmaster, one of the things that he's saying I love this sentence. What if I do it anyway? What if I do it anyway? I use it all the time, or at least I try to use it. The point is this one. If your opponent's previous move is aimed at preventing something that you want to do, you can see where I'm going with this. You should say, okay, clearly my opponent is preventing the move. What if I do it anyway? You have to ask, well, I suggest you ask this question because in many cases like this one, it is still working. It looks like it is preventing it, but it's not. then you just do it, and then your opponent is like shocked, and you get a psychological advantage at least. It could be that your opponent did prevent you from doing it. Then you would know how to make it work. If you see exactly why it fails, you don't assume it fails. You see exactly how it fails. You can make it work. So here, that's why the engine says e5 as the move here. Takes. Well, giving up the dark squared bishop, I'm up for that compensation. So knight takes e5. It doesn't even take. Knight. By the way, the engine says move the bishop. I'm saying I'm a human being. I don't understand. I mean, in post-game analysis. But during the game, I would calculate this and try to... There's usually some discovery text, like rook e8 pins, knight e4, stuff like that. The engine says that black can take, black can go queen a5, knight h5, or knight e4. Whoa. For example, knight h5, what's this? Knight d7, knight f4 intermediate move. Very nice. Oh, I like it. I'm glad I didn't check it before I recorded the video of this specific line. So black had the equation. Black played knight h5 in order to play e5. The irony is e5 together with knight h5, just a different move order. So e5 would be very painful for white. After takes, knight takes e5, knight h5, that's fantastic. Knight d7, knight f4, pawn takes, bishop takes. White has an extra pawn, but the pawns are doubled. The bishop is strong. The d4 square is weak. Black has more than enough compensation. So that's the first point. Let's move further. Bishop moves to g5. Yeah, it's not clear. Maybe it goes to e3, maybe it goes to g5. Yes, bishop g5, h6, bishop comes back, and now e5. d5. Yeah. Castle was good, d5 is good, it's not a problem. White goes d5, and black goes very risky f5 line. I understand why black is doing this, and why white were trying to punish it. Well, the engine... Okay, I forgot to mention one important thing. Especially after playing a classical game, you should do opening research. You should say, okay, what am I doing differently next time my opponent plays exactly the same line? The answer for white would be, oops, I'm not playing bishop f4. I'm playing castles. Yes, black will play e5, and we transpose to a main line like h3. We have one of the main lines of King's Indian with fianchettoed. So I'm not playing this bishop f4 anymore. And for black, it should be, oh, on bishop f4, I should put in my file. Usually if a player plays King's Indian, there is a file, there's a big one. Add this game to the file and say, bishop f4, I should note this idea. Well, the engine says like queen b6 is a move, but I love this idea of immediate e5. Interesting. Next time I'm playing e5. And both players have found an opening improvement and answer the question, what do I do next time differently, assuming the same line happens? That's a secret homework that all of you, I suggest that you do, and this way you would slowly but steadily improve. Okay, I'm going to the next critical moment. E takes f5, g takes f5, knight takes e5. Okay, this is the moment. First of all, I think if I had black pieces here, I would be horrified of takes, and just queen d6. This terrifies me. The pawn is hanging, this is hanging, ruins my center. That would have terrified me. Probably black missed that the pawn was hanging. Then I can relate to it. But if black said, no, it's fine, it doesn't look fine to me. Actually, the irony is white can castle long here, which is very shocking. So that would have scared me enough to dismiss the line. Also, I would say that I really dislike the fact that white has so many forcing moves. Good looking ones. Queen d6 looks good. Knight e5, let's say knight e5. It doesn't look good to me, but let's say obviously to white player it looked good. Knight h4, typical way, knight h4. Attacks this knight and attacks this pawn. I would be horrified to see this. So if I were black, I would be like, whoa, too many forcing moves. And by the way, the bishop on e2, on g2 is a bad bishop. The moment I do this, it becomes a monster. But yes, okay, our bishop would also do that. So that's maybe not the best point. But it would have scared me enough to dismiss. This, queen comes here, and maybe I miss a knight g5, even the engine is saying, coming to e6. I can barely breathe. Avoid this. So that's my recommendation to black. Now, Why is knight e5 two question marks? It does win a pawn for 1 second. The reason that I hope I would dismiss this line is that after this, first thing, the pawn on c4 is hanging. And I didn't even win material. What did I gain? I don't know. Maybe expose the king a little bit. The bishop's hanging, b2 is hanging, my king is still in the center. I mean, with white pieces. Knight d3 check would terrify me. My king has to move. b2 is hanging. I will be suffering with weak king for free. No extra pawn even. Well, here the engine says f4 was good. I love this move because it's not about pawns. It's about, well, it's a tactical justification. We're almost trapping the queen with bishop g4. But I love the move. It reminds me of closed Sicilian. Weirdly enough, let me show you a line in closed Sicilian that it reminds me of. Let's say this, knight g2, d6, d3, e6, castle here. And let's say white goes f4, black castles, white goes g4, white is saying, I want to go f5. Because if I go f5, my bishop would be working, my rook would be working, and my knight would have a place to go. And black says, nope. Your rook is now bad, your bishop is now bad, and your knight has no place to go. Black is better after f5. So it reminds me of that. And very often there's like a sacrifice even like this. Well, it's here, it's not working because black already castled. But if white goes g4 and black goes rook b8, white would even give up a pawn. Just give up a pawn. That's a free pawn. You just take just to have the knight, the bishop, and the rook going. So it reminds me of that. This move, f4. Liberates the rook, opens the bishop. Yeah, f4, maybe we're trapping the queen. If bishop takes, we give a check, we take. That would be enough for me to like it. Apparently, what? Are we trapping the queen? Ah, the pawn is overloaded. Okay, the pawn is overloaded, and that's it. I call this one, oh, I missed this. I call this sign, my own piece is in the way. In my tactical courses, I describe this topic. If I didn't have this pawn, bishop g4, well, queen h4, I'm still not winning, right? Because the bishop is not there. I'm not winning bishop f6, queen h6. Yeah, I would love to not have this pawn because then I would have rook, knight f3, bishop g4. So maybe f4 comes to mind. But I can relate for how white missed this. f4 is about activating pieces and trapping the queen. That's hard. So black made the most natural move, knight d3. King f1, and now f4. Ah, still f4. Wait, how did I miss that? Okay. It depends. Now it would depend. If this was my student with black, I would ask, did you plan to go f4 or did you have like knight b2 in mind? And if the answer would be no, I definitely planned f4 because I don't like knight b2, bishop h6 is coming. My plan was only to go f4. Then I would say, why did you spend 6 minutes on this move? What else did you consider? Well, probably black considered knight b2. Apparently, it's really bad. Bishop h6 and our king is in trouble. We cannot take like queen g6. I'm guessing we're in big trouble. So probably black considered knight b2. But my argument is this. If the idea was f4 to begin with, I like to say you need to, if you have idea that consists of 2 moves, consider both move orders. If your idea consists of 3 moves, let's say independent, consider all 6 move orders. That's hard to do. But compare. Like if I go f4, does it give me any extra options? Yes, it does. I have bishop g4. I love it. So if I go knight d3, like it happened in the game, and I go f4, I don't have this option, and the check is not running away. So starting with f4 from that logic would be better because one option, and if nothing else, I go to d3 like planned. Okay, so knight d3, king f1, f4, perfect move. I love this move because it improves 2 pieces at once, actually without even losing material. After g takes f4, you just take it back, and well, we didn't win a pawn, but we have 2 bishop advantage, one of the bishops would be gone. Open the f-file, getting to the king, our king is surprisingly safe. That would be phenomenal. Why decided to do this? Desperation. Although, here, now maybe a little advice for white. Position is bad. Yeah. but it's very tense. How many reasonable moves does white have? G takes f4, bishop takes f4, two obvious ones. And, well, since white played d takes c6, let's add it to the equation. 3 reasonable moves for white. Well, the engine suggests an unreasonable move, bishop d4. The idea is that after takes, you have a check and take. This is nuts. It's not, human beings don't play like that. So bishop d4 out of the option. So these are human moves. Let's say bishop takes you don't like because you definitely lose the bishop. So it's either pawn takes or pawn takes. But bishop takes also has some logic to it, forcing knight f4 in a way. Anyways, if you have so many good-looking forcing moves, focus, pay attention. The price of a mistake would be high. You cannot guess anymore. You have to be specific and calculate. And white did have time for that, 45 minutes. So I would be all red, thinking and calculating, 5 minutes perhaps. So d takes c6, 2 question marks, because after pawn takes, maybe the idea was this, but then no, that's it, the king is dead. So queen d5, queen d5 was the idea. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense, and queen d3. Probably white missed rook f2, that's my guess. Without rook f2, this would be good. But rook f2, king goes to g1. Now, black is completely winning according to engine, but not according to human beings. This is not, I'm looking at it, I'm like, why is it a win? Like, we have only bishop and rook. This is coming, the diagonal is weak. What's this? Bishop, queen b6. So black focused, and I like the time spent. Black spent 4 minutes, more than 4 minutes on the move queen b6 out of 25. I think that's good. Black felt this is the right moment. At least you can say after the game, right? Queen b6 minus 5, approximately, by using my weak engine. Any other move, much less than that. So queen b6, great move. The queen is saying hello to the king. And queen b2 is coming with a disastrous 3 pieces would be under fire. So white goes knight a4, which is great. And now black spends 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Again, the moment is right. You can see that rook g2. Why is it so slow? Maybe it's because I'm recording the video. Maybe that's why. So my computer is saying I cannot deal with this right now. Okay. Maybe last time the people complained when I started using Stockfish 11, but okay. Stockfish 11 is decent at calculating simple tactics. So rook g2 was the correct continuation, winning 2 pieces and a pawn for a rook. Now queen takes e4. Now it's very hard to give advice in a lost position. So from now on, white is lost, but white managed to win. Now, they say the hardest thing to win in chess is to win a winning position. This is where black is going sideways. Black has extra material. That rook and that bishop. Black is trying to win the game without them. d5 and all the moves to follow. The irony is complete the development. Does white have any threats? Well, queen is 3, but yeah, it's not a big threat. We're going to take the pawn if we really want. Jakob Ogre questions. What's my worst place piece? Well, we have 2. Bishop d7, good looking forcing move. It's forcing because bishop is coming to c6 and there are 3 heavy pieces on that diagonal. That's it, we're gonna cook them. Second reason is we need more pieces. We cannot win with just the 2. Improve your worst place piece, and if it happens with the tempo, that's awesome. d5 is still winning, it's like minus a lot. But I think that's a step in the wrong direction. Closing the diagonal. White plays queen e3. And now black plays queen c4. Okay. I want to help black player here. You should have a sense of urgency. Now, like when you have a check here, when you have this capture, when you have this capture, when you have like bishop f5 moves, prioritize your forcing moves. Queen c4 is a forcing move. But it's a very small force. The most forcing move you can do is a check. Just give a check. Just give a check. And the point is, here's the thing. Black spent, okay, this is the reason why black lost. Okay, d5, that's the reason. Out of 13 minutes, spend 10? No. Again, the moment was right. Bishop d7 would have ended the game on the spot. That's just it. The bishop comes and take, maybe not even take. Our bishop would be stronger than that rook, right? So that's it. Bishop d7 complete. I don't know what happened to black with d5, but 10 minutes unacceptable. Unless you're like immediately winning a queen or something, then yes. But if the game continues 10 minutes, nope. That's the reason why black lost. So your move should be forcing, but also good looking. d5 doesn't look good to me. Puts a pawn on a square where it's attacked. Well, both captures are terrible, but it doesn't improve your position. Bishop d7 improves your position. d5, queen e3, and now queen c4. Now with low time, it's very difficult. So here, it's very hard to give specific advice, except, let's say, general thing. Checks first, checkmate threats second, major captures, major threats, and only then small captures like one pawn or small threats like attack a pawn. The best move was queen c2, give a check. Queen f2, if I were to see bishop h3, that's it. Bishop h3, that's it, I'm winning. If king goes to g1, let's say, well, in the blitz game, it's just 1 second. I wanted to go bishop d4, queen g2 mate, but I'm getting checked. So I cannot do it, but black is winning with many, many ways. Rook f8 is a beautiful one, right? But you don't have to see this beauty. The logic is, if you see that after bishop h3, king g1 is the move, do you like the change? My bishop is on h3, the king is on h1. I love the change. You don't have to see a win. Just leave with the queen, doesn't matter. You dramatically improved your position. That's it. That's all I need to know. You don't need to see the win before. So more forcing moves first. Queen c2 is more forcing. It should be prioritized. If you're going to blitz out a move, it should be queen c2. The irony is the second move is the biggest threat, attack a queen. By the way, that's a good looking forcing move because it improves your position. Advance a passer with a tempo. As simple as that. Like, what is more forcing? Take one pawn or attack a queen? I think attacking a queen is much more forcing. Because without a pawn, you can live. Without the queen, you're cooked. Queen c2, attack the king. d4, attack the queen. Both moves very aggressive and improves the... Queen c2 makes your position better. The queen is now attacking the king. The pawn is closer to the king. Queen c4 gives the momentum to white. Now white is attacking. Technically still winning, but terrible. Probably with low time, I would just trade queens and just go here if I have like 3 minutes. Rook c7 moves the bishop and so on. And it's very, and again, like instead of complete the development, you have material advantage, you're not using it. So moves the bishop, d7, f5, g4, I don't care. And the engine doesn't care, I just realized. The engine doesn't care. It says, just develop. Free pawn, there's a free cheese in a mousetrap, you know. Queen b2, it's a forcing move, but you're losing a tempo. Yes, you're coming back, but now white is attacking, and it's very hard to defend. If you were to play bishop f5 and bishop e4, I think black is still completely winning. Complete the development. Forcing moves that improve your position. Queen b2 does not improve your position. Your queen is just barely holding, and with like 1 minute on the clock, it's very hard to play a move like queen e8, queen f8, and align yourself. Probably black said that they were losing and black didn't see bishop h3. Yeah, okay, but in 1 minute, I would have missed it too. So I want to change the thinking. The priority of your thinking, make my move. More forcing moves first, moves that improve your position. Care about your worst place piece. Your rook on a8 saying, hello, hello, you forgot about me? And the same says the bishop. Care about your pieces. If black cared about the pieces, maybe less time would be spent on taking free pawns and more. It should be like, I haven't completed my development. I haven't completed my development. I haven't completed my development on every single move. Can I do it with a forcing move? Can I do it with a threat? In both cases, the answer was yes, yes, very much. So this should have been, like in this moment with 12 minutes, you should be able to beat even Stockfish. Just try it. Play bishop d7 against Stockfish. You will beat it. Rook d1, you go here. Rook goes to d5. You take it. Queen takes. You give a check. You will win. You will beat Stockfish. Just move the rook to e8, push the pawn. You will beat even Stockfish. So good looking forcing moves. d5 taking pawns don't improve it. Good looking means improves your position. In most cases, it is improving one of your pieces. All right. And after that, let me see that white convert the advantage well. Yeah, now it's very hard. Now you have to see that queen f8 doesn't lose. So yeah, and after that, b6, rook f2. Yeah, not a big deal. Queen f5, rook c2, and white just gives a checkmate. Queen d1, checkmate. Yeah, queen e4, but this is completely losing. Yeah, maybe some little practical chances, but in reality, it's a lost position. So yes, white converted the advantage flawlessly when they got a chance. So I hope this was instructive. Please subscribe to lichessladders.com YouTube channel and register at the website. If you want to play better classical chess over the board in your club or in a tournament, you need to practice it at home. How can you do it? It's very hard. Go to the website, register, find a player, find that's a time that suits you both, play the game, and then submit it for analysis for the YouTube channel. Take care, subscribe. Bye-bye.